And I think this is going to be what I do for some time because guess what? The game is too bugged. It's just too bugged. I tried to make a moon mission and it's just the maneuver node doesn't show up, the transfer doesn't show correctly. It's still too problematic to play. But we have at least the news of the new update, put out a patch in the coming weeks addressing these issues. So, and that's only 4 issues. Like, they link the page where there's the bug reports. Look at this, there's 30 pages. I watched this a couple minutes back and it had like 29. There's one extra page already. This is not planned. This is not planned at all. But and that's one of the things that worries me because there's so many bugs that there's no time to optimize the game right now. So optimizing the game, they even answer down below if I go back and someone asked about optimization and they say that yep, it's complicated and it's going to take time. But I think one of the most interesting news that we had here actually is that someone asked to run on the Steam Deck, and the answer was KSP2 is currently not optimized for Steam Deck, but we are considering it as part of the extended roadmap after 1.0. So that means that right now KSP2 is not Steam Deck compatible, but they want at some point to do it. I'm going to be honest, they could do this right now in some sense. It would be complicated, yes, but not really. So let's use some basic things for example. So the main problem with KSP2 are the graphics for like the majority of people. Like the CPU of the Steam Deck should be able to handle KSP2. So the problem is the GPU. And the GPU, most of the issue, if the people that are trying to decode what the game is doing are right, the problem with the GPU is that there's a bunch of shaders working parallel and they all use 4K resolution screens. So in the end, like the main problem with performance in the GPU seems to be that. So why they can't just take the shaders, reduce the resolution, put the thing instead of like 4K, reduce to like 1K, maybe 512, and just try to take that thing and disable a bunch of graphical features. There's already a mod that's able to take a lot of features of KSP2 and just disable. That's the thing, like if you don't know, there's already mods for KSP2 and there's already the lag remover that is a potato KSP simulator. So there's already a mod that is able to take most of the graphical features of KSP2 and just remove it. So I would say like with not a lot of development time, they could make the game be like so much lighter, at least on the graphical side. The CPU is still have massive bottlenecks and like you not be able to make huge part count chips, but at least the game would not run 0 FPS on like any system that doesn't meet the VRAM requirements and other kinds of stuff. So I hoped that like this changes and they actually just give players the options to turn off effects inside of the game, and 2, reduce the size of the textures used inside of the game to be able to allow lower GPUs to use less VRAM. Go on the forums, go on like Discord and ask them, because it seems that they thinking and there's already someone that did something, at least on the graphical parts, that halfway done the job. So we just need like the main development team develop the buttons to disable the graphical features in game, and 2, have a way to reduce the textures that you're using or in some setting in the menu or the version of the game that you're downloading. Could be simply like KSP2 is Lean Edition, where they just take all the textures that they have and just shrink down by like 4 times. And that's just enough to have the game running lower end machines. And that's something that like it's not mentioned about, is that a lot of the game requirements for KSP2, they're artificial. The developers choose to add all these features. They choose to put all of these requirements and they choose to remove the options to turn that off, because most likely some of them they have the artistic vision, because the game works. Like you can see here already, the game just freaking works if you disable that. And even if you like on the moon where there's no atmosphere, there's no gravity, etc., etc., the main problem is mostly the shaders resolution, that they could just take the shaders that they have, reduce the resolution, and just make a game better than currently is.